Hey guys, welcome to another podcast from the Three Bios. If you are on YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with a friend. If you are on Spotify, don't forget to enjoy it and give us a 5-star rating. Thanks for watching. Enjoy. Hey guys, welcome to another video. This is the Three Bios -1 again. So it's just me and Nori now, just doing a little preview of the weekend games. I'm going to start off with in time order. We'll go in time order, it'll be easier. So we've got the Liverpool versus Bournemouth, the Fulham versus Brentford game as well. Let's start with the Liverpool Bournemouth game. I was quite impressed the way Bournemouth was played last weekend. I do think that they definitely improved. Do I think they've improved enough to compete with someone like a Liverpool? Possibly in the midfield, yeah. But anywhere else, no chance, personally. I was really impressed against them against West Ham. They give them a really good game. But then again, it's West Ham you're talking about at the end of the day. They are a little bit weaker in the midfield as well themselves, West Ham. But yeah,
Yeah.
what do you reckon to the Liverpool Bournemouth game then?
Um, sorry, Liverpool. Uh, First of all, of course, hello. Obviously, hey, Norrie speaking. As you know, quite distinct looking, I guess, compared to my other co-host. I think you should be. I think you should be quite familiar with me by now. But yeah, as far as Liverpool goes, like I don't know. Like their manager Jurgen Klopp, honestly, he's one of the most impressive managers that have come touchdown, hit the Premier League running, collected and scooped all of the major trophies available in like a nice little 3 or 4 year kind of window. Very impressive. If my club had done that with my manager, I'd be over the moon. So yeah, they've done it all, but he does have this thing where he's got like a blind spot for certain positions in his squad. And with the upcoming season, I didn't have much hope for Liverpool. Their defense looks as shaky and rocky as it did last season. They've not made, to me, they from what I recall, they've not made any significant improvements to that back line at all. You got Van Dijk there, who's really kind of starting to crawl his way out of being in the elite top bracket.
Yeah,
Um, Not because of a lack of ability, but I think some of the physical attributes that he has, obviously, as you hit your 30, 31, 32, they start to wane, obviously. And when you couple that with injuries as well, I think that cruciate injury sustained against Jordan Pickford and that Merseyside derby, yeah, I think it's a long road back for him to be hitting the heights that he was hitting back in the day. And with him being their number one defender, everyone else behind him is obviously to a lesser level of quality. They're still relying on the likes of Joel Matip, kind of one of the understated signings of Klopp's tenure. Came in on a free and was part of the whole ride, collecting all of the trophies out there. But in pre-season, he looked absolutely abysmal, being run ragged. The Trent Alexander-Arnold position is like he's a right back, but he can't defend. He's not here to defend because he chips in with 15, 20 assists, which is obviously like a fantastic return when you weigh up the pros and cons, but you still need to be able to defend. They tried the whole experiment thing with him in the midfield, which can pay off against the likes of Macedonia in some knockoff friendly in the arsehole end of Timbuktu or wherever it was. Um, but but yeah, he's gonna get he has been getting like badly exposed when Liverpool don't have the ball, and he's got to do the work back that way.
yeah,
But yeah, I just look at the lopsidedness of Liverpool's team. They brought in two attacking midfielders. Only Lord knows why, because they don't need attacking midfielders. They need defensive midfielders
hmm
and central midfield reinforcements that have got other qualities than attack or attacking qualities. They need defensive qualities. They need physical qualities. They need legs to replace Jordan Henderson. They need bite to replace Fabinho. So it's like he's trying to replace round pegs with square holes, or however the saying goes.
hmm
Um, when they played Chelsea last weekend, I was impressed with them because the attacking elements to their team came to the fore.
yeah,
But ultimately, every time kind of Chelsea would go the other way and try and carry the ball, it'd be easy as anything because obviously there was that lack of defensive reinforcement in that midfield and the kind of lopsidedness, the attack heavy kind of setup that Liverpool have got. As far as facing Bournemouth, is it at Anfield or is it at the Cherries,
yeah.
the Vitality?
Anfield, at Anfield. So against the the Anfield faithful.
Yeah, they should. Liverpool should clean them up. To be honest, I mean, in spite of their deficiencies, they've probably got the most impressive overall attack when you look at the personnel on the pitch
Mm.
for the starting 11 and the options available off the bench. Yeah, it's got to be a Liverpool win. I like what Bournemouth did. They got this new manager in. They ruthlessly sacked uh, what's his name, Gary O'Neill, didn't they?
Mm.
Who's now doing who's now doing bits of Wolves, obviously. We'll get to that later, of course. But yeah, it's got to be a stroke for Liverpool. They're gonna have too much firepower for them, I think.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And like you said, for me, I don't. For me, the big issue with Liverpool at the moment, I think, is Trent Alexander-Arnold's position because he's trying to be that hybrid player, like Partey did for Arsenal the weekend last weekend, where he could play that right back, but also just drift into midfield. But I just don't think he's. Int- it's going to sound really hard. I don't think he's intelligent enough to be a midfielder,
No,
and I don't think he's defensive minded enough to be a right back. Which for me, he's kind of like I don't know how begs the question how he's done so well so far. I guess. Like, do you know what I mean? He's won all this, done all that, and only now he's getting caught out because obviously I guess the back four's so weak with Liverpool. They're not. There's no recovery pace as much with Van Dijk's legs going and stuff like that. That's my thoughts on it. But yeah, it should be a very good game. Again, I think Liverpool. They have just signed that defensive midfielder as well, haven't they? That Japanese one,
Endo, Endo,
Hendo.
Endo,
Yes.
replacing Hendo. They took the H off basically.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know what I mean. If you're missing a Hendo, you just got to replace him with an Endo, I guess. But
There we go. Exactly.
um, the other game then is obviously Fulham, Brentford. Um, Mitrovic looks like he's going to be going again all of a sudden. I mean, that
Mm,
deal's back
mm,
on. It's not confirmed yet, obviously. It's just rumours.
mm.
Um, do you reckon he will be a big miss for Fulham?
Massive, massive. That Mitrovic, when he first had a stint in the Premier League, I don't think he managed to score. But he signed for Newcastle. He flopped at Newcastle.
Mm,
He moved to Fulham. He had a wonder season in the Championship. When he came up with Fulham, I don't think he bagged a single goal, and he got absolutely rinsed for it.
yeah,
They went down. He stayed. He slapped in an unbelievable amount of goals. I think it was like 50 goals in a calendar year, club and country or something. He had a second bite of the cherry then with Fulham to see if he could actually get himself on the score sheet and get himself a goal in the Premier League level because he always seems to excel at championship level, but never at Premier League. And yeah, last season, in spite of him being out for that big chunk of the season, where with his, I think it was a big suspension that he picked up for manhandling the referee in that
mm.
FA Cup game against Man United, if you remember that.
Oh
What a game
yes,
that was! By the way.
that was
Yeah,
mental.
in that game alone, I think you saw the best and the worst of Mitrovic. To be fair, I think he scored at
Yeah,
Old Trafford that day, and
he did.
for me, I've never been a big fan of him, but that day sold me on him. He is as
Seven
good
match
as
ban he had for that, mind. 7 match ban.
7 or 8.
I'm pretty sure it was 7.
Yeah, he was fuming with the ref, putting hands all over him like WWE. But yeah, yeah. So as far as Mitrovic's his importance and his contribution to Fulham, that's going to be sorely missed if he ends up leaving because he's one of the best target men out there.
He's
The
a
way he
proper
could
number
just kind
9,
of
I think, isn't he?
a proper number 9, yeah.
Mm.
And I don't say that to just kind of shoehorn him in as like a big target man up front. No, he's
No,
got
he's not.
a very good touch. He holds on to and shields the ball unbelievably well. He's,
Yeah.
he's he's also he's also got like this trademark move that he does where he's got like a standing header on him because he stands at like 6'2". He doesn't really have to leap and jump, so he just kind of stands his ground, backs into guys, and then heads it while stood still. And yeah, it was a valuable weapon from last season many a time. So he'll be missed, but I think Marco Silva, he's got a tight knit squad, and I think he knows what he's doing with the whole situation as a whole and how to get Fulham
Mm.
kind of back on the right track again. So
They do seem like they're very in control of it, as you said. Yeah.
yeah, there doesn't seem to be panic stations there, does there? They got a good win
No.
against Everton last week, I believe,
Mm.
and yeah, I think more positive things to come
And
from
Everton
them
are
now.
a very hard side to break down. You know what I mean? They got to probably. arguably one of the best defensive managers in the Premier League.
Mm,
You know, what I mean, he knows how to keep clubs up. He knows how to keep a team from relegation, and you're
mm,
going up against them. And to be fair, they looked really good. Score predictions:
yeah.
Fulham, Brentford.
It'd be tricky because Brentford
Fulham's home.
really, yeah, they are. They're at the cottage, but Brentford last week really impressed me.
Yeah.
I think they were in the 2 o'clock kickoff, I believe it was against
Hmm.
Tottenham Hotspur at their stadium, the community centre stadium, or whatever it's called. And
Yeah.
I looked at their lineup, and they don't usually really have any stellar names there today. But so
No.
the one big missing one is that Ivan Tony, obviously, and you look at it, and you're like, bloody hell, man, who the hell else can they bank on and rely on? But fair play up front, they got that duo, Johan Wissa and Embuemo, Brian
Yeah, and
Embuemo.
Buemo. Yeah, that's
They
correct. Yeah.
they ran Tottenham Hotspur ragged. So
Hmm.
it could go either way. I'm gonna
Finished
say a
2-2,
draw.
didn't it? That one.
Yeah, I'm going for another 2-2 draw.
2-2 draw.
Yeah.
Liverpool as well. I don't know if we got the score predictions for that. I was going to go 1-0 Fulham. I was going to go pretty 1-0 Fulham. I
Mm.
was. Yeah, that's just me.
Uh,
Liverpool game.
Liverpool game, I'm gonna go 4-1. I think after the frustrations of Stamford Bridge only managing to get a 1-1 draw, I think the forwards at Anfield are going to be absolutely chomping at the bit to just hammer some goals home and get that out of the
Yeah.
system.
Well, I think yeah, I think I kind of agree. I was probably gonna. I don't think Bournemouth are gonna score. I think it's gonna be 2-3-0. I'm gonna go
Mm,
2-0. 2-0
mm,
Liverpool
mm,
personally. Not gonna be a run over.
mm,
Luton's game against Burnley is being cancelled, postponed because obviously their
mm.
stadium's still in renovation in it because it's not up to Premier League standards. But I would have
Exactly, yeah.
really looked forward to seeing that game. Two promoted teams
Exactly.
going at it. See where actually Burnley and Luton actually are together.
Best league in the world. This. How many weeks and months have you had to kind of get your shit in order?
Yeah, well,
Not good enough. Not good enough. I get it. They've gone from non-league to Premier League now, but like, come on, boys, get your act together.
mate, have you seen
Not
their
good enough.
stadium? It's mental.
Yeah, sandwich in like a terrorist estate, and then you got to walk through a couple of back gardens. You got the dog
Yeah,
park in here. You get the turnstile. You got the ice cream van parked in the street just behind.
yeah,
And so picking up your
absolutely
kids from
crazy,
school and seeing
mate.
them
I would.
training. Like,
Can you imagine Liverpool, Arsenal, all them going
mm.
to there? Mate, they've only got like nine. Was it like 19,000 seat stadium? Not even that. Was it
Yeah, well,
19,000 now when they do the renovation? I think.
for Bournemouth, I've got what 17, I think. So
Yeah, they're probably the smallest ones. Yeah, true. Bournemouth, but
mm,
yeah,
mm. It'd be
mental.
interesting.
Next then, look, we're gonna go on to it. Wolves, Brighton. All right, we're not. We're gonna have another talk about the Wolves United game another day because we've got a lot to say about that. But Wolves, Brighton.
Uh,
For me, the way
yeah,
Wolves play is gonna be a great game because what they've
yeah,
done against us, they destroyed us. But they're coming
yeah.
against someone who's absolutely organised, a top class team. Um, Maybe not top class individuals, but top class team. Do you know what I mean? They work in a system really well, really organised, and it doesn't. I think I could probably go to that team, and I think I could probably fit in somewhere. They'll find a place for me to work, and they know what I could probably do. Probably on the bench, but you know what
Like
I mean?
like a glove in Michael Jackson's hand. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly like that. So I know you were quite impressed with Wolves. So start with them.
Understatement. Understatement. Yeah. Far as the Wolves go, I mean, when they turned up at Old Trafford last weekend, it's funny because even in spite of all the turmoil that they had with their manager leaving, uh, and then their new manager being appointed only like 4 days prior to the game, and then you looked at like a lot of the departures that have left Wolves as well. A lot of the big names, your Diego Costa, your Raul Jimenez, your Ruben Neves, a couple of other key players as well. You looked at their squad, and it was looking pretty threadbare, to be fair. But then when the game started, that first couple of minutes in, I was unbelievably impressed, to be fair. Still got that live wire Pedro Neto, that little Portuguese winger, whipping in absolute balls,
Hmm.
cooking cooking Luke Shaw for like Sunday dinner, early morning
Yep,
on a slow
yep.
roast. Um, they had that Mateus Cunha, didn't they, up front? That big kind of Um,
Lamina was my biggest standout was that Lamina or Lamina, the centre
yeah,
midfielder.
yeah,
Absolutely run
Mario,
that midfield for both
yeah,
teams. He
yeah,
destroyed it. The way he takes the ball off the back four, turns and
yeah,
just powers straight through the
yeah,
midfield. Like
yeah,
he doesn't care
yeah,
who's in front of him. He made
yeah,
Casemiro look second to none.
yeah, and they got two others just like him, Mateus Nunes. I think they're like 27 million from Sporting Lisbon last season. Didn't
Yeah,
really get much shine because of some of the other compatriots, the other Portuguese, Moutinho and Neves.
yeah.
But this season, if he can play anything like he did at Old Trafford, they've got a player and a half on their hands. And yeah,
Gomez, obviously.
along with Lamina and
Gomez,
Nunes, Gomez.
Gomez. Really impressed with Gomez again. Them two, Lamina and Gomez, like the way they work together, it's just like they've been playing together for years. They know who's going forward. They know what to do. They know the right. Their game and ball knowledge is absolutely phenomenal together. It's like they've been playing for years, and that's why they won the midfield battle at the end of the day.
You'd have to remind me which Gomez they were referring to. Is he in the centre
Uh,
midfield?
yeah, Joanne is it or Joanne or Joe, Joa Joao J whatever that is, Brazilian, the Brazilian. I know his name.
I
Gomez,
know, I
Joan
know,
Gomez, 22 year
I know
old
that.
midfielder.
I know they had Mateus Cunha in there. I know. Sorry, Mateus Nunez. Is it Nunez you're referring to? Half.
No, Gomez, give me a
Um,
little Google there.
yeah, I'm having a look. See now. I'm having a look. See now. Funny because I know as soon as I see that name, I'll be like, oh yeah, him.
Yeah, he
There's
played
one.
really well, mate. Really, really well. Really
Yeah,
impressed with him. But
yeah, they
for
had.
me as well, when they played against us, they they were actually like Wolves last season didn't press high. You know what I mean? They were sit deep, counter attacking team, right? Especially when you
Mhm.
got ball players in the midfield who could literally put a ball on a 10 pence piece, right?
Yeah.
And then this season now, they've gone for this high pressing football.
Mm.
They've managed to do it in 4 days, which is insane. Do you know what I mean? But it
Oh,
took Klopp
Gary O'Neill.
it took Klopp 18 months. It took Arteta what 12 to 18 months. You know what I mean? It took
Hmm.
Pep arguably probably about 6 to 8 months. All right, it's
Yeah,
taken still taken Ten Hag, but anyway, we're not going to get into that one. Um, they've done that in 4 days.
it's
Do you
mental.
think
It's
that
mental.
was just a mental? Do you think that's the way they're going to play from now on? Do you think they're going to play consistently like that, or do you think it was a bit of a blip in a good
I
way for
think
them?
I think what's happened is Gary O'Neill kind of with his limited kind of experience managing clubs at a top level. He's come in with a kind of a humble demeanor to him, and he sat the players down, and he's probably explained to them like, "Look, guys, I know it's not ideal. Your gaffer, you pinned everything on his hopes and his tactics for the season, and he's walked out on you, and now you've obviously got me. You've probably done much about my playing career and whatever, but." All I can do is kind of tell you that I'm here to kind of help you guys succeed and do the best you can do. So we'll see if we can
Mm,
put together a game plan and get out there and just just get the most out of you guys and your ability that I know you've got, and obviously get Wolves firing and up the league. And that's exactly what they've done.
yeah,
If you look at their squad, it's pretty much littered with a lot of leftovers from last season. Like a lot of these players I'm seeing now, they were kind of riding the bench when obviously Wolves were taking part in the Premier League last season. But I tell you what, the right back, the left back, the two centre backs. I mean, they're no
mm,
great shakes as far as reading their names out, and a lot of them are familiar names. But yeah, yeah, they put on a hell of a show against United. But I'll be fair though, United had a hand. United being how bad they were, had a hand in Wolves being as good as they were. So
yeah. You can't
you,
discredit Wolves for how good they were.
no, I won't. I certainly won't. I certainly won't. But I just think that there's a factor of that you've got to look at when they come
Mm,
up against a better organized team than United. And I think we'll see what Wolves are really on at the moment because I think a lot of teams could turn up
well,
to Old Trafford and do what they did.
you can't get a better, more
And
organised team than Brighton, can you? That Jose, I'm going to call him Jose Gomez, came from Flamingo. They signed him this season.
I just looked. Yeah, I just looked. That one
I
absolutely
don't
flew
know
under the
nothing
radar.
about him, but all I've
Flew under.
seen is when he came in and he ripped us apart. You know what I
That
mean?
one flew under the radar for me. That one, I'm afraid. I'm sorry to
Yeah,
say.
I don't know much about him, but what I seen of him last week, absolute top quality player he's going to be,
Yeah,
and he's still young,
yeah,
22 years old. Um,
fair, fair.
we all know about Brighton. You know what I mean? The way they play. You're a massive fan of that Deserby or whatever his fucking name is.
Come
You
on,
know what I mean?
come on.
On a shoestring budget. You know what I mean? Your love of your life in football, as you call him. Um, look,
But yeah,
we,
close enough.
we're, we're gonna see the same old Brighton again tomorrow. And we, you know what I mean, doing what they do best. And for me, I can only see that I think that's going to be a draw. I think that's going to be 1-1 that game. Uh, Especially Wolves being home. Brighton gonna have to make something happen. I think yeah, 1-1 personally. What do you reckon?
You, you think there'd be a bit of a cancelling out, wouldn't you? Two
Hmm.
pretty informed teams kind of meeting each other at a head and just cancelling each other out, being as one being as good as the other one. But as good as Wolves and as impressive as they were at Old Trafford against United, I do think Brighton are a couple of levels above them and above a lot of teams in the Premier League. I'm looking at their lineup now and their squad, and okay, Matoma, yes. All right, Solly March, yes. Joao Pedro, new signing, brilliant. Pascal Gross, stalwart. Estupinian, absolute bargain of a left back. Lewis Dunk, captain, fantastic. And then it's like Danny Welbeck, James Milner, um, Jason Steele in goal, I think this Deserby's made me realize a lot of things about football, and it's that it doesn't matter about the names that you've got on the pitch. Sometimes it's what you can squeeze out of them, and
Mm-hmm.
he's got their game plan down to an absolute T. Every one of them is comfortable with the football at their feet. They're good at following instructions. They're good at he's good at promoting attacking football, passing football, patient football. It's brilliant. I think a lot of the top level managers could do with having a good look at how he runs his ship and
Mm.
take notes, because it's not all about big money signings, man. If you squeeze the best out of the troops that you've got at your disposal, you can be capable of anything, man.
Yeah,
I
I
don't.
agree.
I'd like to say draw, and I'll give Wolves a leg up, and I'll say a 2-2 draw.
Two true draw. There you
Yeah.
go. And just want to touch upon something. Lewis Dunk is another player that I look in that team and think he's never going to play that style of football. He's never going to play that style of football. He's never going to do that. And he does it like a dream, doesn't he? Again, it just shows that
You
someone
watched
like
them live, didn't you? You watch them live?
yeah, he's just quality, mate. He's
Mm,
so calm, but he's so big and everything as well. But you just think he's going to
massive,
be like a Harry Maguire. Do you mean he can't play
massive.
with his feet? But he can't. He's so good, so
Anything but,
technical.
anything but. If you broke it to Harry Maguire's house, kidnapped him and swapped him with Lewis Dunk, you probably couldn't tell if you replaced one with the other,
Mm,
as close to each other as they look, identically practically. But when you look at the levels as far as their playing ability, levels apart, levels apart. Lewis
yeah,
Dunk, captain, fantastic. O'Brien, fair play.
yeah. Top player. Um, Next one then, obviously. Um, oh, last thing. Do you think that
Yeah,
was a pen for Wolves? Yes or no?
come on, mate. He absolutely wiped him out. It was like GBH. If I'd done that in the street to someone, I'd be getting carted away in the back of a paddy wagon.
That's answered me as well. And yeah, I thought it was a pen. I said to you, didn't I? I said to you in the chat. I said it's a pen, 100% pen, and they didn't give it a shot.
Disgusting.
They didn't go.
Injustice. If that happened for the home team, we'd be getting it, wouldn't it? So,
Yeah, yeah. I wouldn't be happy if it happened against us. I'm not gonna lie. Next
hey,
then, Tottenham United, Tottenham home. Um, Look, if we played like we did last week, we could get this could be a cricket score. You know what I mean?
yeah, no,
I'm hoping to God that he's had a good fucking drilling into this week to these kids because they needed it because they looked like they were still sleeping. Um, Again, still no signings. That's the difference between Liverpool and Manchester United. Liverpool played the weekend, knew they needed a CDM. What did they go out? Boof, bought a CDM, bang, in for the
mm,
weekend. What did we do? We're
mm,
still fannying about, trying to worry about fucking Mason Greenwood and the fucking and bloody what's his face, fucking Harry Maguire, like no longer signing. So for me, it's a joke of a football club at the moment. But hey,
that's unfair.
um, yeah, exactly. For me, um, Tottenham. look, they've lost their best player, fact, but that doesn't mean everything. You got Richarlison up front. He can score goals. He's a bit of a dosser. I don't really like him.
Yep,
You got
right behind you on
Son.
that.
You got Son in that team as well. He's top class. You know, what I mean, he's probably
Yeah,
arguably he's probably the best player and probably the only top class player they've got. I'm going to say that. Sorry, any Tottenham
yeah.
fans.
Give or take, yeah. Yeah. Him and Madison
Yeah,
between them, one
Madison.
and two.
Madison last week was top on his top
Yeah,
game. You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Favorite of mine. A big favorite of mine, that guy.
I want United to go for him, but hey, you know what I mean? What do we know, eh? What do we
40
know,
million.
football fans, eh?
For 40 million, but no, we have to go and get Mason. You had to go and get Mason up for 60 odd, didn't you? So whatever.
Yeah, 60. Yeah, you know what I mean? Well,
And
you
I
know what I mean? We only.
yeah,
Don't start now with your
all right,
agenda.
all right,
Oh,
all right.
here we go. For me, look, I'm just gonna skip over this one quickly. I think United win 2-1 because I
Do you know what?
the only reason I give you my reason
Mm-hmm.
why
Go on, go on.
Martial's fit, and that's the only reason. Okay, so we got a striker. Rashford can go on the left, but he's at his best,
No.
and I think Scott McTominay is going to be playing alongside um, Casemiro, and that's the reason why. I think Bruno will go on the right, which I don't like, and I know you don't like it, but the reason he plays him on there, the right, is because he can pack that midfield then with an extra midfielder. And Mount is number 10. That's what I think, and I think we all win because of that. I know, yes, I know. You don't like Mount. You don't like Bruno on the right. You don't rate anybody up front. I know. But if we're gonna break him, we may as well break him in a game that we need him for, right?
You done,
Casemiro's
yeah.
gone. Casemiro's gone. His legs are
Finished.
gone.
Mm, mm.
But yeah, right. Yes, I'm finished. Now go and wipe the floor with him. Go.
No, no, no. To be fair, you were making some semi-ish sense, right up until you mentioned the name Martial. As soon as you said that, then it all came tumbling back down again, for goodness sake. Um, it's funny, right? It's funny, right? It seems like over the course of time, no matter what form United find themselves in, every time they come up against Tottenham Hotspur, it's light work. It's light work, isn't it?
Was it
So
last
it
year?
could be a blessing.
Was it 4-0 last year?
It was
Similar time
fourth,
to
right?
this?
When
3-4-0 something.
Ronaldo, yeah, you always
The Ronaldo hat trick. Yes, you're right.
yeah, I think it was a couple of seasons ago. But yeah, either way, you always seem to turn up and beat them. But then again, it's Tottenham in it, so come on, lads, it's only Tottenham, as the big man once said, Mr. Fergie. No, but yeah, United were absolutely abysmal on Monday night. Abysmal. I could go in and I could get the knives and forks out and I could feast right now.
Oh
But
yeah, I mean, I
I
know, I know.
I think from the backlash that probably most people have seen by now after the back of that sneaky 1-0 win, it was an absolute stinker of a performance.
Hmm.
Disheveled, disorganized, being ran through like a dirty curry on a Saturday night, the morning after on a Sunday. Just toothless and blunt up front, midfield non-existent, like a bagel, just with a hole in the middle of it. Um, uh, I, I, I don't know what to call it. If it wasn't Tottenham Hotspur, whoever they were playing against United, I'd give the other team a chance. But with Tottenham, they just seem to have that tendency of just bending over and just letting United do them. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a 1-0 or 2-0 victory in United's way. And that's in spite of Spurs playing semi okay last weekend. Um, no, you know what? No, let's go with common sense. 3-2 Tottenham Hotspur.
Oh, okay, okay.
But
I
but
just want to say one
but but,
thing
but
before you have your
right,
say,
but
because
I
I know you want to say something on this.
yeah,
The reason I say Martial is because frees up Rashford on the left hand side. That's the only
I
reason I'm putting him there. And I think he
we
does
see
hold up the ball and he brings it them in to play really well.
fair,
That's the reason why.
fair. Fair, fair. But I mean, it's what season number 9 for Martial now, and
Oh,
he's
his
better off
fitness
signing.
record is terrible.
He's better off signing for hospital actually or something. Because yeah, at this rate, man, I don't know how you can bank on him or rely on him anymore. You know,
He's
even
missing
it,
Phil, isn't he? Him and Phil
yeah,
Jones in the treatment room.
yeah. There we go. Treatment buddies, hospital FC.
Hostel FC. Next one now, I think, is the big game of Saturday, and that is City, Newcastle, two informed teams, or well, one of them's informed, the other one's just getting going. Um, I think it could be a big upset with this one. I think Newcastle could beat them. I know it's at the Etihad, I get it, but I generally feel the way Newcastle played with
Yeah,
Isaacs up front, the way they're
yeah,
playing at the moment with that midfield, I
yeah.
think without Kevin De Bruyne as well, I
Mhm.
think they'll do him, and I think it'll be like
Mhm.
3-1 or 2-1 win to Newcastle. I really
Oof.
do. I really do. I don't think it'll be a small. Like I genuinely feel Newcastle will get the first goal. That will open up the play then for them to go for it again. And I think Man City will score. They always score. They got a machine up front. Do you know what I mean? They will always get a goal. You just got to outscore them and make sure you're the first person on the scoreline because then they will open up.
It's funny, and they're trying to pick holes in a treble winning side. It sounds ridiculous, but when you
They've
look at
opened the
it,
holes for themselves though.
yeah, I think Pep and City as a whole have been quite slow to to be proactive in the market and try and upgrade on what they already have, like Pep
Mm.
normally usually does. Pep normally usually has the best of the best, the tried and trusted formula, very reliable, top-notch players, and then he adds additional layers of quality on top of that. Sometimes you look at it wondering why he's doing that because it doesn't appear to be needed. And then before you know it,
Mm.
they've opened up a whole other dimension to their play and to their attack. You're like, there we go, genius. He knew what he was doing all along. Uh, but with Kevin De Bruyne coming off with that hamstring injury against Burnley early doors in that game, for me,
He's out for a long time with that as well. That's not a short
yeah,
term injury. That's a long term. That's
yeah,
4 or 5 months. Like,
good couple of months, yeah. And to be fair, I know City are filled with world class players anyway, but KDB, like if we're all honest with ourselves, he is that guy, and there's no other KDB on the planet when it
no,
comes to impact in Premier League football matches. So him being out for that long, I don't really see with the current City squad that I'm looking at the losses of Mahrez, with Bernardo Silva being in and out of the side. I don't think he played in the Super Cup yesterday, and it absolutely showed. Uh, Phil Foden kind of in then out, then in then out, not really able to find the rhythm. Julian Alvarez kind of being shoehorned into that unfamiliar kind of central attacking midfield role. There's a bit of disjointment there for me. I know they look comfortable against Burnley. I didn't like what I saw from them in the Super Cup. I saw a
mm,
lot of defenders and a lot of defensive players. I didn't actually see much craft or creativity from them. And I wouldn't be surprised if the rampant Newcastle turned up and actually did a number on them. I wouldn't say that they would. I see Newcastle kind of turning up and destroying them. I wouldn't say that much because they still got that defensive solidity. But trying to break Newcastle United down, who are quite renowned for their kind of defensive sturdiness at the back. Yeah, last week the way they blitzed Villa 5-1, their attacking
yeah,
options are an abundance. That midfield, Bruno Guimaraes and Sandro Tonali and even Joe
insane.
Linton, that combination there, I tell you what, they cooked Villa alive. They didn't even bother slaughtering them. They didn't drain the blood. They didn't hang them upside down. They didn't freeze them. They thaw them out. They didn't defrost them. They just straight just sauteed skillet right down the middle and absolutely cooked them. Fair play. Yeah, I would not be surprised if Newcastle United ran out
Hmm.
maybe three or 4-2 winners. But
Oof,
don't
high scoring
but
game.
don't forget you did. I mean the array of finishing that was there for Newcastle United. Any one of their front guys can get any amount of
Yeah,
goals in any type of fashion as well. I'm seeing Isaac doing chips over the keeper. I'm seeing Tonali with a flying kung fu kick at the back post. Like, take your pick.
yeah, and for me, I think the battle will be won as like most football matches, and I keep going on about it because I love this is the favorite part of the pitch for me, the middle of the park again.
Yeah,
It will
yeah,
be won in
my
the middle of the
favorite.
park because Newcastle's midfield absolutely insane, right?
Yeah, yeah,
I think it's probably one of the best midfields in the Premier League at the moment,
yeah.
personally.
Agreed,
And for me,
agreed.
Kovacic has got to be on his game. If he's having a bad day, they're gone. Like, do you know what I mean? And I think
Yeah,
he is the weaker link in that midfield at the moment,
fair,
personally.
fair,
But then
fair.
again, I'm comparing him to Kevin De Bruyne because that's who he's coming in for. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, So it's
Give or
hard to
take.
compare.
Give or
Yeah, it's hard to compare. Um, at number 10, who would you play?
Number 10 for City,
Hmm.
Bernardo or
Bernardo?
Foden. Bernardo or Foden, yeah. I think if Bernardo gets back into the team, then they can get their mojo back and they can get going again. But when you take him out of the lineup, along with De Bruyne's absence, I think that's like taking the arms, well, one arm off of a boxer and one of his legs, basically. You know what I mean? Okay, there's
Hmm.
another arm still, and they can hop on the other leg, but big weaknesses, big
Is
weaknesses.
is Rodri good enough for them both to play?
Uh in what sense?
In the sense that can you play them both? So can you play Bernardo and you can play Foden instead and drop Kovacic?
So yeah, uh, I
It'd be
think you
very
could find a
attacking.
way to. I think you can find a way to fit them all in. If you have Rodri at the base of it,
Hmm.
if you have Bernardo in the middle with Kovacic alongside him in that attacking kind of, in that midfield kind of triangle trio,
Yep.
and then you maybe find a space for Foden on one of the flanks, then I think you've managed to fit them all in at that point, and yeah, they should be cooking. That's probably
Because
the strongest lineup on the lineup like that.
yeah,
Mm.
because that Palmer at the moment's kind of got that right in his grasp at the moment, and he. You know what I mean? So that's probably some way you can
Yeah,
fit
for
someone
the
in over
game.
there is on the right. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I think probably the best left wing is and got to be Jack Grealish. I don't like the guy, but he's top quality. You know what I mean?
Watching him
But
play is murder to me. The amount of touches he takes, the amount of time he takes
yeah,
to get rid of the ball and shift it to someone else, it does my head in. But fair play, he played well in the Super Cup the other night. He
he
did. He
did.
did. He draws defenders out, and he's got just that way of teasing people and creating chances and winning fouls, doesn't he? So
Hmm.
not for me, but yeah, he's effective. Could
Then
go
the next
anyway.
two
Could
games
go anyway.
are the Sunday games. So we're just going to ask for scorelines. That's all for these, really.
Cool, cool,
Aston
cool.
Villa, Everton. Who do you
All
reckon?
right, I'll give you a quick sentence. Villa are they're on the ropes after that hammering. Everton, I kind of don't know where they are. Don't know whether to stick or twist. I'm going to go for a Villa kind of renaissance and a comeback. And they're going to give Everton a good shoe in, maybe a comfortable 2-0 lead, 2-0 win even.
Brave. I think that's going to be a draw. I think that's going to be a
Okay.
nil-nil draw. I think it's going to be a really boring game.
Oh,
Everton are
oh,
going to grind it out. 11 men behind the ball, counter attack.
mm,
That's what I think,
mm,
personally. Um,
but,
Next one, then, last one West Ham, Chelsea.
oh. So yeah, well, I haven't watched West Ham against Chelsea last season at the Olympic Stadium. West Ham took care of them; they mopped the floor with them with ease. All right, Chelsea had the ball for long spells and stuff, but yeah, they came, they collected, and they sent the packet back down to West London. Um, this West Ham team has got a lot of holes in it, and they need to get their house in order as far as getting the signings they need and adding and beefing up that squad. Um, Chelsea, obviously, they're blowing and spending money left, right, up, down, all over the
1.1
gap.
billion now, innit?
Mental, mental. I'm going to go for a Chelsea win reluctantly. I'm going to say 2 or 3-1, maybe 4-1. Yeah, West Ham are a joke at the minute, I'm afraid.
Well, Casado is in the squad.
Oh, breaks my heart.
So he's
Wanted him
gone
for
there.
us.
And Lavia. So you got
Yeah,
two. Lavia's only 18, 19. Like,
yeah. A little less
it's,
trust on him.
but
A little
if you
less
think
trust
about
on
it,
him.
with
Enzo
Casado,
as well.
think what Enzo can do now. He's gonna be like,
Mm,
oh, this is fucking Christmas, mate. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
I
yeah,
think maybe not this game, but in a couple of games' time, we'll see Enzo's best because of
yeah,
Casado. And I'm gonna go with Chelsea 2-0 win. Personally,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Very
Jackson
fair.
looked really good as well last week. Got to
I
say,
like
really
him.
impressed
I
with
like him.
Jackson.
Very
Really
much so.
impressed.
Yeah.
So,
Agree.
guys,
Agree.
that is it from us today. Very quick one, quick 40 minutes. Done and dusted. Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you're watching or listening on Spotify, don't forget to give us a 5-star rating. Nori, got anything to say?
Yeah, just obviously we're trying to put in the work now, get these episodes out, and trying to get this thing up and running. Any views, comments, likes, shares, and all that, I'm very much appreciated. And for the ones that already have, we obviously appreciate you as well, and do your best to kind of spread the message because yeah, we're trying to get something good going here.
Exactly,
Cheers, guys.
exactly.
Thank you.
So, guys, thanks for watching. Take care. Much love. Peace.